Hello, in this video I'd like to ask for your help in helping me answer a burning question I have right now, which is, should I import my right-hand drive UK IONIQ Electric, not this one, but this one, to Denmark when I'm moving there in a few weeks' time for a job move? Now, you might think, Duncan, what's the problem here? Just sell it, be done with it and move on and, adapt to your new situation when you get to Denmark. But this is an electric car, so the situation is a little bit different from typical petrol or diesel cars. And of course, a petrol and diesel car, you wouldn't want to import that to Denmark anyway because of the high import taxes. So there's two particular issues that make this a kind of special case, and why I'm even thinking about it at all, which is that electric cars are typically supply constrained. There aren't enough of them to meet demand, so they can be very hard to get a hold of or long waiting lists. And they're not very affordable, new or second-hand. We managed to get our UK IONIQ Electric second-hand, and we can afford the repayments on it for now. So it's a kind of a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush situation. We've got the IONIQ now. We don't know if we get rid of it, if we sell it, whether we'd be able to get one again in Europe, at what price and on what timescale. So altogether in this video, I've put together 12 questions that I'd like your help with, please. And if you give your answers in the comments below, that'd be very much appreciated. And I've also got 3 new pieces of information direct from Hyundai Europe about moving the IONIQ, which I asked them. And let's talk about it in this video. Okay, so the first question then, import tax. Now this is one I've actually looked into through the sort of SCAT website, the sort of tax and import duties. And I was using Google Translate to paste the Danish into English. I will learn Danish, but it's very rudimentary at the moment. From what I could tell, there is no import tax due on our IONIQ, both because it's electric and because of the second-hand value of it. It's below all the various thresholds, so we should be able to import it without any tax liability. If you know anything different to that, let me know. Is import tax going to be an issue for us? Are there other taxes kind of wrapped into that I haven't spotted by doing that calculation on the website? So that's question number 1. Questions number 2, 3, and 4, I actually have answers from Hyundai Europe, so I'll go through that. So the second question then I asked to Hyundai was, is the UK warranty still valid on our IONIQ Electric if we take it from the UK to Europe? And especially, it being right-hand drive, I wasn't sure about that. So I got a reply from their PR team, their European PR team, and they said, yes, the warranty is still valid. It still counts as the European region. I'm sure, yeah, you're thinking things about that, me too, but yeah. So that seems to be okay, but have I forgotten about anything there in terms of warranty conditions? The third question then is servicing. Would we still be able to get a right-hand drive IONIQ Electric serviced in a kind of left-hand drive dominated region in Denmark and in Europe? Again, I asked Hyundai this and they said it would be fine, but it might take a bit longer to get hold of parts if there's repairs or accidents or that kind of thing. So again, that seems okay, but have I missed anything? The fourth question then is something actually people have asked in the comments before, which is kind of future-proofing the Hyundai IONIQ Electric. Now, I did a video about the new 38.3 kilowatt-hour IONIQ that's available from around about September 2019. That was a recent video. That made me think about with our IONIQ, if we wanted to keep it much longer term, say, could we swap out the battery? Could we swap the current one, which is a sort of 28 roundabout kilowatt-hour usable battery? Could we swap that out for the new higher capacity one to extend our range so that we can go a bit further afield in kind of mainland Europe? Now, the answer to that from Hyundai was no. Apparently, the kind of battery enclosures, the space in the car that take the battery and the volumes of the battery, they're not compatible. A first-gen IONIQ Electric can't be upgraded with a second-gen battery. So the 28 kilowatt-hour usable can't be upgraded to a 38.3 kilowatt-hour usable. Would that be a problem? I mean, the IONIQ is still very efficient. It's very fast charging and so on. Would it be a problem that we couldn't upgrade it? I mean, that's not specific to moving it from Denmark to UK, but it is a long-term question. Question number 5 then is around insurance. So in the UK, I pay about £320 a year for 10,000 miles social and commuting insurance on our IONIQ Electric at the moment, which is very affordable and was cheaper than the Nissan Leaf that came before it. And I'll have put up the numbers in Danish kroners and euros and dollars and so on for comparison there, just so you can see how much that is. What's insurance going to be like if I move from the UK to Denmark and it's a right-hand drive car driving in a left-hand drive country? Is that going to be crippling? Is it going to be crippling for other kinds of electric cars if we sell and choose to buy a different electric car? Particularly where there's a move involved and perhaps the no claims bonus goes and so on. I really have no idea about that, or whether there's any way to insure on a broader basis with my UK track record having been completely clean on my driving license and insurance and things. Insurance, is that going to be a nightmare? Does that mean I should sell it rather than import it? 6, this is getting a more general question now, driving license. My understanding is that my driving license is fine in Denmark, but if there's any kind of delay period where I might have to do anything with that, it's probably better to sell the IONIQ rather than import it, because there's no point in taking it there if I can't drive it because of driving license issues or what I've just said about insurance. So driving license, anyone who's done that or anyone who knows about that, is that going to be an issue? My 7th question then, which is kind of resale or trade-in value. So here, and I'm currently looking into this, I can probably sell the IONIQ Electric to a dealer or trade it in for something else. But it being right-hand drive in a left-hand drive country, is that going to tank the kind of resale or trade-in value of the IONIQ? Would I have to basically bring it back to the UK to realise any value from it? Is that going to be an issue? Does that mean I should just sell it and not import it? Please let me know. Okay, the 8th issue then, usability. Driving a right-hand drive car in a left-hand drive country. So I have, I've driven in left-hand drive countries before. There's no problem in Europe and in the States, but I haven't driven a right-hand drive car with the steering wheels on the right, driving on the right side of the road as well. Is that an issue? Do people get used to it? I don't think it will bother me. Is there safety or other concerns there that mean I should basically just sell the IONIQ because it's not a desirable thing to do? Please let me know. Question number 9, and this is specific to, it'll be Aarhus in Denmark, we're moving to, on the kind of western part of Denmark. Charging it. If we don't get somewhere where we can charge it at home initially, is this going to be a problem? Here I luckily have a kind of 28 amp 240 volt charger that, we charge our IONIQ here with no problems. I've never been sat waiting for the car to charge up. It's always fine. It's always ready to go whenever I need it. Not much forward planning needed. Parking, off-street parking, charging, all these kind of issues. Is that going to be an issue in Denmark? If we're renting somewhere, will it be possible to have a charger installed, or the kind of electrical code or electrical problems or landlord problems that might sink that mean, again, we should just sell it and move on? Another issue, which is, if basically I sell the IONIQ and don't pay off the loan that's on it because it's an unsecured loan unrelated to the car, that gives me a bit of capital to look for a new electric car in Denmark. So I'd have a bit in hand. I'm paying it off at a rate that I can afford for the next few years. That means we could be, looking for a new left-hand drive EV straight away in Denmark. What's the prospect of getting a kind of car loan or a car lease in a new country where I have no track record there? So again, that's not specific to the IONIQ. That's a more general moving question. But any thoughts on that would be very much appreciated. Then the 11th issue is actually just getting there, is physically moving our IONIQ from the UK to Denmark. So I've looked it up on Google, and it's estimated about 1,000-mile door-to-door journey, 1,600 kilometers. And it would have to go through the Netherlands and then on up into Denmark. So it's also moving through a few different countries and different sort of charger companies and all these kind of issues. Could be a bit of an epic road trip and videos for YouTube in several parts maybe, and ways to meet people and things. So I'm not against it, but would that be an absolute nightmare? It's not a Tesla. It doesn't have access to superchargers. Would that be a nightmare? That means we should just sell it and, don't want to go through that process. Could, of course, pay for someone to transport it there, but that's likely to be very expensive. And then my 12th and last question is just, have I forgotten anything else? I think I've dealt here with all the particular issues of moving the IONIQ. I've thought about it and thought that hopefully is everything that I need to consider with it. But is there something else that I haven't thought about? Any other kind of hidden charges or things that you wouldn't find driving a car in the UK or driving an electric car in the UK like the IONIQ that in Denmark mean, no, don't do that, or in Aarhus specifically, don't do that? Have I forgotten anything? Is there anything else to think about? Yeah, let me know if you know about it, or if you've got thoughts on it, or opinions on it, or if you've been through something very similar yourself. Just please let me know in the comments. Yeah, so it's, genuine questions, genuinely interested in your answers, especially if you've got sort of local or insider knowledge about how some of these things might work out. So a few other updates. People have been asking, will I still make videos if we move? And yes is the answer, whether we import the IONIQ or not. If we import it, it'll be about that kind of experience. If we don't, it'll be about test drives to try and find something new and suitable, because it's always been a dream of mine to be able to kind of access mainland Europe and drive around and take the family different places without needing to fly, and all sorts of other arrangements you need to do when you've got 2 young children. Another thing I wanted to just update, I did the video about cancelling the day one Tesla Model 3 reservation. That doesn't mean we're not going to try and get a Tesla Model 3 at some point. I just wanted to update that Tesla actually gave me the money back very quickly. It was in my account within about 3 working days of the cancellation. So even though there was no other kind of confirmation of the process, and it just stayed saying, your cancellation has been processed, or has been received, your cancellation request or something, they did actually give me the money back in full very quickly. So all credit to Tesla for doing that. And it wasn't anything like the 28 working days or 35 working days or other things that I've seen online. So that was great. And one last thing, and a reason to keep watching in future videos, is whatever happens with the IONIQ, whether we decide to sell it or not, in the week or so coming up, I've got at least a kind of 500-mile 800-kilometer round trip to do around England. So I'm going to kind of do a long-term owner's review of my IONIQ, which I've failed to do so far on the channel because that's something that takes quite a lot of work and editing. But I thought, what better way to do it than actually reflect on all the things I like and any things I dislike about the car after having had it now for about 12,000 miles, I think we've put on it, 11,000, 12,000. Why not do an owner's review of it, of all the different issues and the long-term experience of having one and using one, while actually doing a long road trip that means I'm going to be having to use lots of chargers and experience all the kind of full spread of issues that you get being an electric car owner. So yeah, so that's coming up on the channel very soon. As always, thanks for watching Zero Tailpipe videos. I appreciate all the comments I get and so on. It's always great. And yeah, please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos from me. As I say, there'll be more coming. And bye for now.